Good morning, everyone. Today we are on a Viking sport fishing yacht, and the call is a low pressure fault on the Salon unit. This is the unit, the condensing unit for the Salon, and I'm opening up the access valves to connect my gauges and verify the pressures in the systems, the refrigerant pressures, and determine if the system is indeed low on Freon, which is normally the main cause of a low pressure fault at its most basic. Got my service wrench and opening up the system. The system is on now, and as we can see in my gauges, the low side is at 58.3 and the high 294. That does seem like a little low, so I'm gonna add a little Freon to it and see what that does. I'm gonna connect my 410A tank through my gauges so I can introduce some refrigerant into the system. Before I do so, I like to connect my superheat and subcooling temperature probes to the system so I can charge it properly and not overcharge it or undercharge it. And this is the low side probe, which is the one that reaches the superheat, and as we can see, 81 psi and 44 degrees of superheat does indicate that the system is indeed low on Freon. We want our superheat somewhere around 10 degrees. I'm gonna hook up my subcooling probe on the high side and see what the subcooling is. Right now that little flare is making it a little hard to read, but it's somewhere around 8.2 while I'm adding Freon to the system. You can see how my superheat is coming down. My low pressure is going up into the low hundreds, which is where we want to be. Superheat keeps coming down as I introduce the 378 on the high side. Pressure wise seems to be a little high. The 8 degree subcooling is okay. My pressure might be high because this marina is a very shallow marina in Miami, and the water is well into the 90s most of the time. So yeah, however, there's something weird with this unit. That's why I'm doing a little touch and feely technique here, and there's just something off about the way it's working. So I went upstairs and I looked at these things is where the air comes out. And on the left hand side of the salon, or the port side, there's no air coming out. On the starboard side there is. So there's something going on upstairs with the blowers on the air handler. So I'm gonna climb upstairs so I can investigate and see what's going on. Brought my meter and make my way to the front part of the boat. This is called the bow of the boat, and it's always full of stuff in here. Storage is a very important thing on boats. There's never enough of it. This is where we at, Ocean Reef Yacht Club in North Key Largo, and from here I can already see my evaporator coil on the port side is starting to freeze from top to bottom. You can see those little elbows are freezing over. So I can tell my blower is not working, so I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect the ducting from the blower. Forgot my nut driver to do that, so luckily I always carry my handy Leatherman in my belt, and that saved me from having to crawl out of this space and get it. I look at the blower inside, it's definitely not spinning. I give it a little hand spin and see what it does. It spins freely, but it's not working. I check voltage, and the voltage going into the unit was 230 volts, which is fine. And now I'm gonna check the capacitor and see if that could be the problem. Set my meter to microfarads to read the microfarads out of the capacitor. And all that powdery stuff that you see on my hands is fiberglass. These little crawl spaces on the boats are always full of fiberglass. So I took the reading, and it was reading 3.63, 3.623 microfarads. This is a 4 plus minus 5%. It might be a little under spec, but it's not too bad. It's pretty close to what it should be. So I'm gonna say the capacitor is not the problem. The problem was the blower. We came back and replaced it, and it's up and running. Thank you for watching.